Canelo Alvarez tells the truth about Terence Crawford, and Terence Crawford gets in his feelings about it. Canelo said other than Earl Spence, he ain't really beat no real good.
While most doubt that Terence Crawford, who has never fought beyond 154 pounds, can defeat Canelo Alvarez at his usual 168 pounds, the undefeated champ has been pushing for this fight for months. Now, thanks to the efforts of Turki Alashik, it looks like the highly anticipated showdown is set to take place this September in Las Vegas.
Made official? Is it official?
It's on, baby. September 13, baby. Look forward to it. Crawford versus Canelo. Listen how I said it.
Hey, are we getting this confirmation here?
The tension between Terence Crawford and Canelo Alvarez has only escalated, reaching a boiling point during a recent heated airport encounter. Both fighters were in the same location for a meeting with Turki Alashik when a verbal exchange quickly turned physical. Canelo, with a cold stare, took a shot at Crawford, claiming he didn't belong at 168 pounds. Bud didn't hold back, firing right back at Canelo and calling him out for the conditions of his past fights.
The crazy stuff about me going up and having a tough time, but he went up in weight and lost. That's the difference. I went up weight and won. He went up and lost. You know, so let's not do that.
The tension exploded when a shove escalated into Canelo throwing a quick, sharp shot to Crawford's chest, prompting those nearby to intervene before things spiraled out of control. Security immediately stepped in, pulling both fighters apart, but the message was clear. This fight had become deeply personal. Canelo, smirking, shrugged off Crawford's challenge, muttering that Bud was too small and not worth the effort. However, insiders reveal that the clash didn't end there. As they were escorted away, both fighters kept exchanging heated words. Crawford taunted Canelo, calling him a cherry picker and mocking his past opponents, while Canelo reportedly told his team, "This guy doesn't know what he's asking for. He's about to get hurt."
Biggest fight in the game.
Yes. Yeah, I mean, like when you're looking at Ryan Garcia and Tank Davis, this is the next thing.
Terence Crawford has already expressed his frustration with Canelo Alvarez, who criticized the level of competition Crawford has faced throughout his career. Now, his trainer, Brian McIntyre, is also taking aim at the Guadalajara native. The controversy revolves around the rehydration clause that Canelo is rumored to impose on his opponents, restricting how much weight they can gain after the official weigh-in. However, this time, Bud won't be subjected to that condition, nor will he demand the same from Canelo, even if the Mexican fighter comes in heavier. "We don't care about that. You can only go up so much, and if you go past that, that's on you," McIntyre stated. The first thing Canelo said was that he wanted the fight. "If Terence has no issue with it, neither do I."
Oh, that's 2 more weight classes. Like, once he gets touched by Canelo, it's going to be different.
I am concerned about him absorbing a Canelo punch, especially through the course of 12 rounds. We do know this about Canelo. He's going to slow down.
That's BS. It's for wimps when they say you can't go past a certain weight. Brian McIntyre told The Ring when asked if they would demand the same clause for Canelo Alvarez. "This is boxing. I have the skills. You stepped on the scale. You made weight. And no matter how much you regain after that, you accepted the fight. So let's get in the ring and fight like men. It's that simple." Terence Crawford is determined to prove his greatness against Canelo Alvarez, brushing off concerns about the weight gap. For him, these challenges are where true warriors rise, and only the best fighters show who they really are.
Eso. Venga.
When people say you're too small, outmatched, or don't belong in the ring with a certain fighter, that's when great fighters step up and perform at their best, Terence Crawford told Boxing Scene. Amir Khan remains the only fighter to have shared the ring with both Canelo Alvarez and Terence Crawford. The former unified super lightweight champion moved up to middleweight in May 2016 for a shot at Canelo's WBC title. Though he started strong, Khan ultimately suffered a devastating 6th-round knockout. 3 years later, back at his natural weight of 147 pounds, he challenged Crawford for the WBO welterweight title, only to be dropped in the first round before Bud secured a 6th-round TKO victory. With Canelo and Crawford now on a collision course for a highly anticipated showdown later this year, Khan has weighed in on their power. Surprisingly, he believes there's another former opponent who hits even harder than both.
Crawford could beat him because Crawford is a big 147 fighter and is strong as well, which a lot of people don't give him the credit for. I think that fight, if it does happen, as long as Crawford stays away and just...
Speaking on the HAT Live podcast, Amir Khan revealed that the hardest puncher he ever faced wasn't Canelo Alvarez or Terence Crawford, but Marcos Maidana. Maidana, man, that guy's a beast. I beat him in 2010, but I can't remember anything from the first round, Khan admitted. The whole fight was a blur. I only got to remember it when I watched it back on TV. What a fight that was. Exciting, full of speed, power, everything. He was seriously heavy-handed.
Exactly what he's going to do to him.
Nah, facts.
Years prior to him dropping him. He told Errol Spence on video, he said, I'm going to do it. I'm going to show you.
When he hits you, you feel it. It's not one of those stinging shots. I've been knocked down by punches that didn't even hurt, just flash knockdowns. But with Maidana, his power went right through you, Khan explained. Even when he was up close and hit you in the ribs, you could feel how heavy his hands were. So I have to say, Maidana was the hardest hitter I ever faced. Khan defeated Maidana by unanimous decision in December 2010, successfully defending his WBA super lightweight title in a fight widely regarded as one of the best of the year.
Get his big bank and get out. His big bank is who? Canelo. He willing to take that gamble, see if he can beat him. If he beats him, he may go fight Benavidez next. If he don't beat him, he say, okay, I took it as high as I could go. I'm done.
Boxing fans are eagerly anticipating another potential fight of the year contender when Canelo Alvarez and Terence Crawford finally meet in the ring. Former opponent Errol Spence Jr. has weighed in with his prediction for the bout, acknowledging that Crawford is facing a completely different challenge against Canelo, not just in terms of weight, but in the raw physicality of a fighter who has built his legacy by dominating larger opponents. While many in the boxing world are already labeling this a risky leap for Crawford, his camp remains steadfast in their confidence, determined to prove they're ready for the challenge.
Am I hearing that right? He wants full smoke at that weight.
Let's go, man. That's what Crawford wants. He wants to show the world that he's the best. So, and why put stipulations in there when you know that you can be the best?
For years, Canelo Alvarez has been known for his ability to control the pace of a fight, walking down opponents with relentless pressure. His durability is unmatched, as he's absorbed shots from power punchers like Gennady Golovkin, Sergey Kovalev, and Dmitry Bivol without faltering. On the other hand, Terence Crawford has never faced an opponent who can maintain that kind of sustained power over 12 rounds. Critics believe this will be the key factor in the fight, but those inside Team Crawford argue that weight and power aren't the only elements that matter in a bout of this magnitude. According to them, Canelo has shown signs of slowing down significantly, displaying clear vulnerabilities in his recent performances.
Crawford brings to the table Canelo hasn't seen. He's seen his boxing ability. He's seen speed. There's nothing that he don't have. He's seen Mayweather, man. He's seen Lara. He's seen all these guys, man. Nothing he brings at a smaller weight, too, coming back up. Now let's switch it to the other side. Has Crawford seen...
Team Crawford points to Canelo's recent fight against Jermall Charlo as a sign of vulnerability, where Canelo failed to secure a knockout against a naturally smaller man, despite Charlo being overly cautious throughout. Even more telling, they argue, was Canelo's performance against Edgar Berlanga. Though Canelo won, he didn't dominate in the way many had expected. Berlanga, who lacks elite-level skills, managed to have his moments in the fight. For Crawford's team, that's enough to fuel their confidence. If Berlanga, with his limited abilities, could land clean shots, they argue, what will happen when Crawford, a far superior boxer, gets his opportunities?
Laugh with all the antics that Canelo is doing and saying in the media and whatnot about the size, and he won't get no credit and all this type of things, but Canelo been fighting.
Terence Crawford is renowned for his ability to break opponents down mentally before finishing them physically. His tactical adjustments have been a key to his success, and his seamless ability to switch stances could pose significant challenges for Canelo Alvarez. The Mexican champion has always been methodical in his approach, preferring to counterpunch and exploit openings rather than overwhelming opponents with sheer volume. However, Crawford's skill in constantly changing looks and angles could disrupt Canelo's rhythm in a way that few have managed to do, potentially throwing him off balance during the fight.
Versus Canelo, based on last fight, is a 50-50. So Canelo fights an undisputed champ, up-and-coming former champion, and an up-and-coming undefeated contender. And somehow those three last opponents are somehow compared to Bud's Madrimov fight, making it a 50.
Canelo's most vocal supporters, however, dismissed these claims, arguing that Terence Crawford's success has largely come against smaller fighters who don't have the defensive responsibility needed to survive at the elite level in higher weight classes. They point out that Errol Spence Jr., the biggest name on Crawford's resume, was drained and visibly diminished when they fought. Furthermore, many believe Crawford has never truly felt the power of a fighter like Canelo. While Crawford looked dominant against Spence, Sean Porter, and Kell Brook, none of those fighters hit like Canelo. Unlike Spence, who is flat-footed and there to be hit, Canelo possesses elite head movement and defensive awareness. Team Canelo believes Crawford will quickly realize he's up against a different kind of fighter once the opening bell rings.
For me, in my weight class, it's an easy fight. For me, easy money. So if the money is right, I'm in. Because, I don't like to fight guys like...
There's also the matter of Canelo Alvarez's extensive experience at the highest level. He's shared the ring with legends like Floyd Mayweather, Gennady Golovkin, Miguel Cotto, and many other top-tier champions. Even in his losses, Canelo has shown the ability to absorb lessons and evolve. Crawford, for all his greatness, has never been forced to make those kinds of adjustments in a fight. However, Brian McIntyre and Team Crawford don't see that as a disadvantage. In their view, Crawford hasn't been in those wars because he hasn't needed to be. They believe his dominance is a testament to his mastery of the sport, not a sign of an easy career path.
Like you said, I will give you Terence Crawford could be an anomaly. He can, because he's that good of a boxer. But we can't forget, Canelo has been in the sport just as...
Outside the ring, the build-up for this fight has already turned personal. Canelo Alvarez, who usually maintains a cool and professional demeanor, has been more dismissive of Crawford than any other opponent in recent memory. He's made it clear that he doesn't respect the challenge, referring to Crawford as a small guy and laughing off the idea that he could pose a real threat. Crawford, never one to back down, has fired back at every opportunity. He believes Canelo's arrogance will be his downfall and is more motivated than ever to expose what he sees as weaknesses in the Mexican superstar. Even during their private meeting with Turki Al-Sheikh, tensions ran high, with Canelo reportedly brushing past Crawford with a smirk. Crawford, however, didn't hold back, muttering, "Laugh now, cry later."
That's what everybody want to see. The only way they can be answered is if me and Canelo is in the ring and we fight.
There's also speculation surrounding the judges, given Canelo's history of receiving favorable scorecards in close fights. Team Crawford is fully aware of this and has made it clear they won't leave the outcome in the hands of the judges. This alone suggests that Crawford will aim to push the pace early, potentially testing Canelo's gas tank, which has been questioned in recent years. Another layer of controversy involves Turki Al-Sheikh's role in the fight. Some fans believe the Saudi backer is more invested in making Crawford the star of the event due to his admiration for underdog stories. Others argue that Canelo remains the bigger attraction and that the politics behind the scenes will ultimately favor him. Regardless, both fighters know that the business side of boxing can be just as ruthless as the sport itself.
It happened in boxing, you know what I'm saying? And Terence Crawford is a legend. He's great. He's a great fighter. The only thing I see that I favor Canelo is that his weight.
Yeah.
And that he's more bigger. You know what I'm saying? That's the only thing. But as far as skill set wise, IQ, I feel like Crawford can match anybody and probably.
A major concern for Canelo's team is Crawford's mindset. They've noted that Crawford thrives off being doubted. In his eyes, this is just another opportunity to prove people wrong. He has always believed that the more an opponent underestimates him, the more dangerous he becomes. Despite the size difference, many insiders believe Crawford has the speed and sharpness to land at will, if he can keep the fight in the center of the ring. They argue that Crawford has a real chance to outbox Canelo over 12 rounds. However, if Canelo is able to trap him against the ropes, his bodywork could take a serious toll, making it difficult for Crawford to sustain his movement throughout the fight.
I can't go down anymore. But you know, like he say, you know, when they ask him for the Germonta fight, they don't wanna get credit for that fight. It's the same for me. I don't need to take that fight because everybody's gonna say this too small.
Regardless of how things play out, one thing is clear. This fight is as much about legacy as it is about money. Canelo doesn't want to be the guy who loses to a naturally smaller fighter, and Crawford wants to cement his place as an all-time great by doing what many believe is impossible. With both men unwilling to back down, it's only a matter of time before the talking ends and the punches start flying. The boxing world is watching closely, and no matter who wins, this will be a fight that will be talked about for years to come.
Terence Crawford, I see he wants to fight. He's made it clear. Do fights like that help your legacy, or do you feel like that's something that's not worth it to you?
Everything in my career, every fight make my legacy different and better.
Israel Madrimov's prediction about the upcoming mega fight between Terence Crawford and Canelo Alvarez has sparked a lot of debate. Known for his brutal honesty, Madrimov didn't hold back when asked about the outcome of the fight, and his answer wasn't what many expected. After facing Crawford in a tough battle for the WBA light middleweight title last year, Madrimov is no stranger to the champion's skill. However, his bold stance on how Crawford will fare against Canelo has only added fuel to the already blazing fire of speculation surrounding this highly anticipated showdown.
The Sheik said that he would be willing to pay whatever you want to fight Crawford.
Fine.
Yeah.
If he's willing to pay whatever I want, comes down.
That'll work. So if yeah, you're in. So if
Madrimov's prediction was straightforward. Canelo Alvarez will win, and not just win, but do so by decision. His reasoning? It's a very different weight class. Canelo will win, I think, by decision, Madrimov told Boxing News. While many would expect a fighter like Crawford, who has established himself as one of the most skilled and dangerous boxers of his generation, to have a chance at taking down the Mexican superstar, Madrimov's words cast doubt on Crawford's ability to move up 2 weight classes and claim victory.
I'm a fan of that fight. There are too many weight classes apart. And although the skills, Crawford is one of the best fighters that I've seen. Now, Canelo.
What made Madrimov's statement even more controversial is that it contrasts sharply with the opinions of others in the boxing world. Canelo Alvarez, who holds multiple world titles in the super middleweight division, has a reputation for being a calculated and powerful fighter who thrives against larger opponents. His ability to absorb damage, combined with his punching power, has made him a feared figure in the ring. Many observers have argued that Canelo, at 168 pounds, will be too much for Crawford to handle, especially since Crawford has been fighting primarily at welterweight.
Canelo, I think that's weird, you know, because you'd have to gain 20 pounds? Yeah. But they say that's the money fight. That's the mega fight. That's the money fight. That's the only thing that makes sense for Terence Crawford.
Well, you know what I mean? Catch weight.
While Madrimov's take is undeniably bold, he's not the only one voicing an opinion on the mega fight. Jaron Boots Ennis, another rising star in the sport, has also weighed in, but his view on the fight is far from one-sided. Known for his slick boxing skills and knockout power, Ennis has called the fight a 50-50 contest. He pointed out that Crawford will be putting on an additional 14 pounds to compete at super middleweight, and that could affect his performance. He's going to have to put on an extra 14 pounds, so he might be a little slower, or who knows, he could be faster. I don't know. We'll see on fight night how he'll look, Ennis stated.
They were able to land the Canelo Crawford fight, which was announced. I don't know that it's actually official. It's official.
The idea of Crawford, a fighter known for his speed, agility, and defensive prowess, potentially being slowed down by the extra weight has caused a stir among boxing fans. It's a valid point. Crawford has always relied on his quick reflexes and ability to control the pace of a fight. Moving up in weight could very well alter that dynamic, especially against a fighter like Canelo, who is both physically imposing and incredibly skilled in the art of pressure fighting. While Crawford's move to super middleweight is one of the biggest talking points leading into this showdown, it's also important to consider the factors that make Canelo so dangerous in this weight class. Not only has he proven himself against top-tier opponents like Gennady Golovkin, Caleb Plant, and Billy Joe Saunders, but he has also demonstrated an uncanny ability to adjust his style depending on the opponent. Whether it's brawling in close or using his boxing IQ to outmaneuver an opponent, Canelo can do it all.
Has the Canelo fight, realistically left your mind once he said he's not interested, or you're still pursuing it?
Not at all. I think business talks.
Yet despite all the respect Crawford has earned throughout his career, some critics, including Canelo himself, have cast doubt on Crawford's track record. Speaking to TMZ Sports, Canelo acknowledged Crawford's talent but was quick to downplay his resume, especially when compared to the Mexican star's extensive list of victories. "Look, I respect Terence Crawford. He's very talented, but he's just won one big fight. If you see his record, he just beat one good fighter. Other than that, he hasn't beat other good fighters like Spence," Canelo said.
To fight the best fighter in my generation that's out there. He's the most accomplished fighter, and I would just like to, fight another great.
Which is a very noble.
Canelo's comments were aimed squarely at Crawford's most significant win, his victory over Errol Spence Jr. last year. While many consider this to be Crawford's defining moment, Canelo's statement reflects his belief that Crawford hasn't faced the same level of competition that he himself has. For Canelo, it's not just about the wins, but about the opponents you've beaten along the way. And for all of Crawford's brilliance in the ring, Canelo's assessment is that Crawford's resume doesn't quite match up.
Go in there and get those belts real quick. That's what he thought with Bivol. Otherwise, he would have never did that. I mean, the Kovalev fight.
I'm sure that's what Jermell Charlo thought with Canelo.
It's not just the size difference that gives Canelo the advantage, though. His ability to close the distance and apply constant pressure could be a nightmare for Crawford, who thrives when he's in control of the distance. In their respective weight classes, both fighters are masters at dictating the pace of a fight, but in a battle of this magnitude, something will have to give. For Crawford, maintaining his trademark speed and movement while adjusting to Canelo's relentless attack is the key challenge. How do you think this ends? Share your thoughts below, and don't forget to like and subscribe for more updates. See you in the next one.